All right, here's my first question. What was the most difficult part of writing your first novel?
The most difficult part? I think just the process of bringing together tens of thousands of words into a novel. It's just, until you've written a complete novel, it's intimidating, I think, to finish that. So actually my first novel is not the one that was published. That's actually my second complete novel. But going through that whole process, the most probably just the discipline of writing, you know, and making sure that I was making the word count. Once I had signed a book deal, like a 3-book deal, I had, been paid for, book to be completed. So that was a new pressure, a new facet of writing that I hadn't really had before. So yeah, just the discipline and knowing that it was also a job, not just something that I enjoy.
Well, I know that you yourself were firemen, right? Are you still actively a fireman? Oh, awesome. Is that where your idea for the plot came from, or did you have to do a kind of a story map before you began writing, or what was that process like?
Sure. I think over the last decade, a lot of the experiences, the things I've seen or heard or felt, have seared themselves into my subconscious. And it just came to a point where I couldn't help but let it spill out upon the page. So, in that context, I created an overall story arc, and then this inner character story arc that come together and tell the story of firefighter Aiden O'Neill and Free the Fire.
That's awesome. How much of Aiden O'Neill is you? Is any of it autobiographical? Any of his characteristics that you have?
I think I approached Aiden like a method actor would approach a role. So in order to infuse him with lifelike characteristics and qualities that seem genuine and give him life, I breathed into him, probably a lot of my own perceptions on things. But it's not meant to be a depiction of me or anyone else.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. So who's your favorite character in the novel and why?
I'm partial to Aiden because I spend so much time, writing the first person through his eyes. But there's a character named Lowell, and he's pretty fun to write. He always brings about interesting conversation in the firehouse. So.
Oh, I love it. And did you ever experience writer's block while you were working Through the Fire? And how did you overcome it?
It's usually writer's fatigue. There'd be times when the night before I'd be working at the firehouse and we'd, run 7 or 8 calls after midnight, and then come afternoon time I still need to make a word count. So I made for some bleary-eyed afternoons at the coffee house. But for the most part, I was able to push on and wait till the next day and be fresh.
Awesome. And what do you hope readers get out of your novel?
With Through the Fire, I really set out to tell a story of death and redemption, and to give a picture of the greatest story ever told. In the context of a very real feeling, very palpable, genuine experience of what it's like to be in a firehouse. There's action, there's suspense, mystery, there's a dollop of romance, and so it's all brought together to hopefully give an enjoyable read and a very genuine experience.
Absolutely. My favorite quote is from Benjamin Sauer character, and he says, "There isn't one of us who doesn't need to learn how to better place his trust in something or someone outside themselves." I really liked that. Do you think that's what Aiden O'Neill needed to learn throughout the course of this book?
Absolutely, and Benjamin Sauer actually.
Oh,
yeah, and that's great that you pulled that out.
That's my favorite quote. I liked it.
I'm really stoked. It's really neat to see what impresses people or what leaves an impression on them. And Benjamin does serve as Aiden's mentor, so he's a spiritual guide of him on his journey, his character's journey, and that is key to what Aiden needed to learn. He needed to learn to look beyond himself. His issue is he's hitting a wall, just relying completely on himself, and he needed to learn somehow to put his faith in something greater or outside of who he was, because it wasn't working.
Absolutely. What's more difficult, being a fireman or being a writer?
They're so different. Yeah, my wife often says that. You have two very different jobs. Writing is often very cathartic with regard to experiences that I've had as a fireman, as a paramedic. There are very difficult things about the environment. But both jobs are very different. You know, I tend to think like, why am I so tired? You know, I'm just writing. You know? I'm not. You know, I'm not doing this intense physical work, or my life's not in danger in front of my MacBook. But it is genuinely mentally fatiguing and spiritually draining to pour out things on the paper and to make it sound right and to make it flow right and to bring it together in a cohesive novel form. So they're both so unique. They're apples and oranges, really.
They are. Okay, next question. I noticed on your website you have a playlist of songs.
Yeah.
Right? And some of them are mentioned in your novel, I noticed. So I was wondering, did you listen to these songs as you were writing? And what role did music play in the creation of your novel?
Right, yeah, I often write to music in very loud music. And it drowns out the world around me, and it brings me into the story world. And what I'll try and do is create a playlist of music that seems to be applicable to the novel. Like if this story is being made into a movie, these are songs that I would incorporate into the soundtrack. So, oftentimes it'll help paint a picture or create a mood, and then I'll just roll with that when I'm writing. And sometimes the song just fits so perfectly to what I have been writing. I think there's a cover by the Gypsy Kings of Hotel California, which is Aiden's Mexico experience in a nutshell.
Oh, that's awesome. That's wonderful. Would you recommend that readers listen to your playlist while they're reading Through the Fire? What do you think?
I put it out there just in case people are interested in it, and there's a click or a link to iTunes where you can download the playlist. It's really whatever the person's preference is, I think. In a way, it's depending on how fast or slow you read, the song's not necessarily going to coincide with, what portion of the novel is thinking about when I wrote it.
Awesome. Last question, I promise. What's next for you? Are you working on another novel?
Yeah, contracted with Reed for Bethany House, and the next novel will be out this time next year. It's about a Reno paramedic who feels like he's chasing the angels of death.
Oh.
And it's called Tomorrow We Die.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.